Well, folks, listen up, okay? Pay attention, Kevin, all right? I've never been to the Philippines, okay? But you go for the culture, all right? You go for the food, you go for the holiday, you go for the beaches, I think. You can go for the resorts, the vacation, the spas. It's a beautiful place to go. But if you go, okay, you're going to pack your beach shorts, your running shoes, T-shirts, a shaving kit. Okay, you always need a shaving kit. But you're also going to throw in your curling broom, Kev, and your gold line shoes. Okay, we're joined. Well, I'll let you introduce all of it, Kev, because this is super cool. This is super cool.
Yeah, we're so lucky. Ellen Frei from Team Philippines. I just spent the last 9 days with the crew in Baden, Switzerland, and Zurich, Switzerland. And now, Ellen, thank you very much for taking the time. We really want to hear about, oh boy, Team Philippines curling. I had somebody in the store today, and I said, oh, this is going to be such a fun show. Wait till you hear. We're going to be talking to the Team Philippines in curling.
No snow in the Philippines, no winter in the Philippines, but the Philippines got a curling team now, and this is a wild story.
Yeah, Ellen Frei, you're the guy who put this together. You're the one who thought, you know what? I'm going to make it to the Olympic Games. Well, tell us about how this all came around, because you've been curling now about 2-3 years?
2.5 years now.
2.5
Exactly. I started 2.5 years ago. And so some short background about me. My name is Alan. I'm half Swiss, half Filipino. So my mom is from the Philippines, but I was born and raised in Switzerland. And I was an entrepreneur all my life. I sold my company end of 2022. And suddenly at one point I had more money than I ever expected. I had more time than I ever expected. But I had one problem. I was about 50 pounds more than today. So I was overweight. And my father died with 59 and my grandfather died with 59. And I went to the doctor and the doctor told me, Alan, your blood work is really bad. You're on a bad path. You need to do something about your health. And then I was like, okay, what can I do? I went back to my girlfriend and I told her, you know what? I tried to go to the Olympics. I don't know when. I don't know where, but I tried to go to the Olympics. So I called up my lawyer and told him, go through all the regulations and tell me what's the easiest way to go to the Olympics. And then after 2 months and a huge bill, he came back and he told me, Alan, you have no chance for Switzerland, neither in summer nor winter Olympics. But your mom is Filipina, so you have a small chance in winter Olympics in cross-country skiing. So I decided I never cross-country skied in my life. Got myself a coach, started cross-country skiing, and I had zero talent for it, like none. And then I was struggling with it, and I was just doing my thing, and then the story started. So then I got an email in March 2023 by a person I've never heard of, Christian Haller, and he's a curler. And he wrote me an email and he was like, Alan, I've been curling since over 25 years. Can we have a phone call? And that's where the story starts.
Where did you, Alan? Most people don't pick a sport and say, okay, I'm gonna go into curling, but I'm gonna start with the Olympics. It's usually Kevin knows of anybody and any curler. It's not something you knock out in 2 years. 100%. Talk to me about that. What was your mindset saying, okay, Olympics, here I come?
So the thing is, first, I'm really embarrassed being here in a podcast with you guys talking about curling. Started 2.5 years ago and being here with legends in this podcast and other curling legends, and now I'm in here. So the reason behind it is, I thought, why not go for a big goal? Why not go for a big dream? Because often Filipinos are a bit humble and, they don't go for big things. And being an entrepreneur for 20 years, I realized, having a dream, but then attaching a plan to it, suddenly you have a goal. And, it was not about, just getting directly to the Olympics. We had like the first step was, okay, the goal to get to the Olympics, we need to have a team. We need to have a roadmap. So, it was just having a bold goal and see how far we come. And we came way further than I ever expected.
Well, yeah, you ended up winning the Asia Pacific Championship. So that's a huge event. And for anybody that doesn't know, Korea is in it, China is in it, Japan is in it, and is New Zealand in there too?
No, New Zealand's not in there. It's China, Korea, Japan, Kazakhstan, Chinese Taipei. These are the bigger ones. But China with the top team and Korea with their top team at the time. So it's like the Asian powerhouses of curling, and we won that in last February. But that was like the peak. It started way earlier, we were like, it was just me at the beginning, and then Christian wrote me. And Christian then told me, hey, Alan, there's this situation that will never happen again. He told me in curling, you need 4 people. I even didn't know that in the beginning. He told me you need 4 people in curling. And there are like in the mountains of Switzerland, deep in the mountains, they're like 2 brothers. And they're not just curlers, they're really good curlers. And they've been at the World Championship for Switzerland 2017 and 18. And their mom is also Filipino. And they peaked in 2018 and they never made it to the Olympics. And they also had the Olympic dream. And they got crushed in that time. And then they didn't get any funding anymore from the Swiss Federation. And the 3 of them had, as a joke, a WhatsApp group called Team Philippines. But they were looking for a 4th one. And I told everybody I'm going to the Olympics. So they heard of me and they thought maybe he will sponsor us or maybe he wants to join us. And I told the guys, you know what? Screw cross-country skiing. I'm now part of your team. And then they asked me, did you ever curl? And I said, I've never curled in my life. Not once.
What makes you believe, Alan, that you can make the Olympics in 2 years?
So what makes me believe is, first of all, the other 3, as you guys know much better, it's a very, I'm the lead, and my position, I have like these 8 positions I need to train. And unfortunately, I didn't realize in the beginning that I need to sweep that much. I only sweep from one side. And, I fell so many times. It was embarrassing, when we played together, and I fell and took out all the stones. And so what made me believe? The first is that the other 3 are really good curlers. So that made me believe. And the other thing was, hey, I have time. I have the courage to do that. And if I try to be committed, as an entrepreneur, you always have setbacks. Everybody tells you this will not work and this will not work. And there are so many naysayers, and I thought, what's the worst that can happen? So I went all in.
How are you going to make the Olympics? What process do you have to go through to make the Olympics?
So it started we had this WhatsApp group. I joined the WhatsApp group, and the thing was the Pfister brothers. Mark was a bit more excited, but Enrico, he was not excited at all. He stopped curling. He retired from curling. He was traveling around the world with his wife at the time, and he was like, he will never curl again. And then I came in and I was like, hey, let's try to go to the Olympics. And then they were like a bit skeptical. So the first thing I had to do was I had to learn to curl, right? So I called up Swiss Curling and I told them my name is Alan and I want to go to the Olympics. And they laughed. They were like, okay. And I was, where can I train curling? And they told me, so the capital of Switzerland in curling is Baden, where the Baden Masters is. And I was like, I'm from Baden. I've never seen a curling arena there. And then they told me where it is. And I was like, oh, yes, there it is. So I called the guys up and I told them, my name is Alan. I want to go to the Olympics. I need a coach. And then they were like, okay, there's this young guy called Marcel Käufeler. He was also in the Swiss national team and he was he was in Team Brunner, vice European champion. I called him up and told him, hey, Marcel, do you want to be my coach? And he was like, no, stopped curling. I don't want to curl anymore. And I asked him, so what do you want to become? And he said, I want to become an entrepreneur. And I told him, you're there where I want to be, and I'm there where you want to be. So let's just coach me and I will pay you what you charge your customers. And let's put it during lunch or in the evening. And then he said, okay, yes, let's do it. And that's how I started getting into curling and trained every day since then. And that's like my story. But then, there's no Filipino Curling Federation. So, and the guys didn't have the passports yet. So I had to organize a passport for the Fister brothers. Then with Benjo, our president, I organized the Filipino Curling Association. And then we went to the Filipino Olympic Committee. We applied there, and they were like, what is curling? What are you guys planning? And they were like, no, we can't do that. And we were like, we are really committed. We really want to do that. So they gave us a recommendation letter for World Curling Federation. We applied to World Curling. And then World Curling said, okay, you can come to the Pan-Continental Curling Championships. But only the year after, so in 2024. And they was like, put us on the waiting list. If somebody drops out, we will come in 2023. And then they were like, Kazakhstan, I think, dropped out. We went to PCCB, so with Saudi Arabia, Kenya, Nigeria, Hong Kong. So we were in the lower bracket. And then 2 years later, we won the thing, made it up to A, and now we're playing against the big guys, Canada, US, China, Japan. And this is absolutely crazy.
Well, you know what? And now I think, Alan, if I'm right, you and I have talked about this, but when you go to the Pan-Continental and the A side, you have to finish in the top 5. And if you do, you go to the World Championship, right? But there's Canada, US, China, Japan, Korea, New Zealand, Australia, Philippines. So you have to really knock off one of, because I think Canada, US are pretty tough, I think. But China and Japan and Korea, you've already played them.
Exactly. So what happened then is, we decided we are going to the Asian Winter Games. In the US and in Europe, people don't know that, but it's the Olympics for Asia in winter. And like all the countries come, and then we thought, you know what, this will be a great experience, and B, we can play on arena ice. And I asked the guys, what is arena ice? I never heard of arena ice, right? So they said, so arena ice is faster, it curls more. It's not club ice, so I can learn on the arena ice. So we went to the Asian Winter Games, and then we went there, and the opening ceremony were 20,000 people. And the opening ceremony was done by the President Xi Jinping of China. And we were like, oh my God, this is a big thing over here. So we played our first game against South Korea, and we got slaughtered. They're really good, and they beat us. And then second game against Turkmenistan and Kazakhstan, and we got into the game better and better into the tournament. And then we sneaked into the quarterfinals, and we played against Japan. And against Japan, I had the best game of my life, 95%. I never played better and after that game, and it was shown on TV. And we made it into semifinals. And then we had China. China was there they were this year at the World's 4th. So they're really good. And they underestimated us, and we kicked them out in the semifinals. And then suddenly we were in the finals, and we had again Korea. And the Koreans, we had the strategy not to get too many points. And then we beat them in the finals. And then all hell broke loose. The president of the Philippines called us. He wanted us to come to the Philippines. And suddenly, the whole Filipino community was like, what is going on? Why did Philippines, the first winter medal ever for the Philippines ever? And then suddenly we had to go to TV stations, and people didn't know what curling is in the Philippines. 99.9% don't know what curling is. So we had to explain that.
It sounds to me, Alan, like there's more to this than you just becoming a curler. I'm getting a sense that this is something that you want to do for the Philippines itself and not just for your team.
100%. This is, as I mentioned before, Filipinos are, probably many of you know Filipinos. Filipinos are very humble people, hardworking people, but often they're nurses or they work and cleaners. And they're always in the second row. And we are like, you know what? let's shoot for the moon. Let's go all in. And there will be people who don't like the story and people who are naysayers, but just this dream that drives us, and I believe it's all about that. It's about taking chances in life, having a plan, and just then going all in.
Okay, Jimmy, you asked about the Olympics. So we've talked about the Pancontinental and how you get to the World Championship. Now we got to talk about, because I've got a list of stuff to talk to you a mile long, and we don't want to keep you forever here because you're in Stirling, Scotland, competing right now. But to get to the Olympics, to your goal of getting to the Olympics, you have an event first in Aberdeen, Scotland.
Exactly, in October. So that's the pre-qualification tournament. So because we couldn't play the Worlds, we couldn't qualify directly, and this would have been very hard, but we are going through the qualification route. And first we need to do the pre-qualifier. We will play against Austria, New Zealand, Australia, Denmark, Chinese Taipei, and I think Poland. This will be the pre-qualifier, and we need to reach the third place. And when we reach the third place, we can get to the men's qualification tournament in Kelowna in December. And there we would play against US, China, Japan, the Dutch, Korea, and the three that make it up from the pre-qualifier. So that's the route, and there we need to become second, and then we can go the last places, 2 places for the Olympics.
It sounds, having to travel from the Philippines to other hotbeds of curling, it's not exactly around the corner for you to get to places. How are you paying for all this?
So the thing is, we all live in Switzerland, right? Our moms are Filipinas, and we all live in Switzerland. So this is a big advantage. We can train in Baden, which has like 10 months a year, is open, and the guys live in Bern, which has also great ice. But the thing is, we are financing that ourselves. And, it's very important to understand that the other guys are working full time and they have families. So we are not a professional curling team, right? The others are working full time. So they're every holiday, everything, they're sacrificing a lot, not seeing their family. And on the other side it's me who is financing mainly the project, and we got some sponsors. And if anybody's interested in, you reach out to us. But we have some sponsors, and the rest I'm covering. And yes, we have the whole team. We have a coach, we have an alternate, we have a filmmaker joining us, and it's quite expensive to travel all around the world. Just with the team.
I'd like to ask you about that, the filmmaker, because that shocked me when I was with you guys last week. Is in Baden during the event, and even at dinner, and anywhere we went, Dan would be there, the guy with the camera. But at the actual curling event, there was Dan, and there was another fellow. I forget his name. Was it Tony? What was the second guy? And then you had 4 people total. On staff, filming and whatever else they were doing. It seems like a fairly big production of what you're attempting to do here.
So let me tell you the story at the beginning. That was so embarrassing when we were in PCCB in 2023 in Kelowna. And you had Gushu playing there. And we went into the arena, and Gushu was playing there. And we went in there, with our camera team. Imagine, we're in B and they were in A, and having this camera team coming in, and you have like all these curling superstars. So the idea behind it was fairly simple. Probably many listeners know the movie Cool Runnings, like the Jamaican bobsleigh team who tried to make it to the Olympics. And at day one, I realized this is just a fantastic story. It's a great story, and it will be very hard to get the footage afterwards. So I had to invest and say, okay, this guy is coming along with us. Dan is also a curler. And there are the last movie was like Men with Brooms. I think that was the last one. And in the last 2.5 years, I really start loving curling. The people are great, the sport is great, but I believe there's still a market to it, especially in Asia. And, telling this story might open it up to other audience which has nothing to do with curling at this point, but having this story, this zero to hero story. This is what we want to show. That's why we're bringing along a filmmaker, and hopefully we can be on a streaming platform somewhere. That will be our plan.
I can't help but think this sounds like a couple of things, and you may remember this, you may not. The Jamaican Olympic bobsled team, okay, came out of nowhere, but they got qualified. They got in. I don't know what if there's a pre-qualifier now for that. And the other one was a skier out of England, a ski jumper named Eddie the Eagle. Yeah, and both those teams took the Olympics by storm when they came. It became a movie. It really was like a movie. I can't help but think this is going to be a heck of a story and a heck of a movie, and something that will end up on Netflix or something.
That's the plan, and I truly believe, for just broadening the audience, it's exactly Eddie the Eagle. I love the movie Eddie the Eagle because he had so many obstacles, and we have so many obstacles, and it won't be easy. It will be really, really hard. We played at the Bottom Masters, as I mentioned. We got killed on the ice there. And also now here in Stirling, now at every tournament I'm probably the worst player in the whole tournament. So now it's, it's catching up time, but it's exactly that. It's in the Philippines, they even call it curl runnings, like cool runnings, but curl runnings.
Well, I just like to talk a little bit more about, I guess now, if you get to the Olympic Games, I was talking to Braden, the fifth, from Vancouver. And Braden, by the way, Jimmy, played in the Brier this year for BC. And that's the fifth for Alan. So really, really good player. And we're having a chat about, can you imagine at the World Championship or at the Olympics, the first time Team Philippines plays at the World or the Olympics, what would the TV ratings be? What do you think, Alan? Ballpark. It would be the biggest ever.
I believe so, because the thing is, last year we played at the Bottom Masters, Joël Retornat, and we had incredible views because people just wanted to see the Philippines curl. And as you mentioned, Kevin, just imagine, this is the thing that drives me. Just imagine the Philippines would make it to the Olympics in curling. And how amazing would that be? And how crazy of a story would that be? And so, yes, I believe the ratings will be, like you have 100 million Filipinos in the Philippines. You have 5 million Filipinos in the US and in Canada. It's a huge market and a sports enthusiastic market. And I believe if we would make it, this would be Jamaica, Eddie the Eagle, but it will be somewhere in the top 5 of Olympic stories, probably.
Well, what happens? I mean, I love this goal that it's the Olympics. I really am staggered by that. What happens if it becomes tough on your team? How much wherewithal do you guys have? And I want to take nothing away from you. Kevin's right. The smartest thing about curling, and to Kevin's point, has said you got to have an audience. You've got to have an audience. You have to have some interest. First of all, how is the interest in curling in general in the Philippines?
So people don't know about curling at all, but they love our stories. So when we won the Asian Winter Games, I had 10, 12 TV interviews, national TV. And they were like, what is curling? Explain it to us. And I've been playing for 2.5 years. So, I'm not sure if I said it right there. But the interest, is huge, because what we tell, there are a lot of Filipinos, and Filipinos are great in precision sports. They're great in, Kevin, we talked about it, snooker and pool. Filipinos are really good in snooker and pool, like the world champion was a pool or Filipino. And so, yeah, exactly. Efren. Exactly. So precision is a big thing, and Mark, our skip, he has this thing, he has this feeling of precision. So, but you're right, Jim. You mentioned before, what will you do when it gets tough? And right now, last season we ended on a high. We won the Asian Winter Games. We thought, okay, now we're here. But the problem is the other teams, they train full time. We don't do that. And now we started the season and we didn't get one win in yet. We play good. And it's not that we zero chance, but we see, there are levels to the game. And the thing is, we need to go all in. And we know that. And, after the loss today, everybody was very disappointed. But I think that shows how important it is to us. It's not that we are like, this is not a fun project for us. It's not like this would be so funny. We are. This is all in for us. This is the guys are not seeing their families and they're giving away all their holidays and I'm putting a lot of money into it. And I'm every day at the curling arena. I could do other things in my life, but we are going all in. So. But it's tough. It's not easy.
I want to make sure everybody listening understands that your story's not really an Eddie the Eagle. Mark Pfister has been to the World Championships from Switzerland. He's a very good player, top shelf. He just hasn't played lately because busy with wife and family, and his health went through some trouble too a while ago. But he's back to good, which is great. So he's a heck of a player. And then Christian, the third, was a terrific junior player in Switzerland. A really good player. And then Enrico, the second, is a beast at sweeping. A terrific player. And also played with Mark. And I played against the Pfister brothers. That's one of the reasons when you phoned me to come and help for a bit, happy to help. Because I'd played against the Pfisters when they were young, and they were awesome then. So I want to make sure everybody understands that it's not as long of a shot as, and you've got Braden, too, who's a top young player who's ripped. He played 3 years of baseball in Germany. So this kid is an athlete, strong as an ox, very talented. So you've got a really good core group of curlers, and then you've worked your butt off to get to where you are right now. But understanding curling is a hard game. It's tough to get really, really strong, really, really fast. That's not really fair. It's that's a lot to ask.
And probably, everybody besides Bryden is beyond their peak, right? That's like, Chris is 44 now, and Mark, haven't been playing professional curling for a long time. Enrico as well. So you're 100% right. They are so talented, all of them, but a little bit beyond the peak.
Yeah. Well, Mark, not age-wise, because Mark's 36, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of prime for a
It's
skip.
prime for skip.
Or even a hair older, like 38, 39, I kind of think is peak for a skip. So he's right in the wheelhouse. Enrico too, because he's so fit. There's no fat on that guy. Like he's fit as a fiddle. Just kind of naturally that way. So I kind of like the crew actually. So it's going to be I'm excited to watch, especially the Pan Continental, because that's your first. Is that your? We haven't talked about what you're doing next, your schedule. So you've got, of course, you're playing in Stirling right now. Is your next event in Aberdeen?
No, the next one will be in Tallinn, just before Aberdeen, end of September. And then it's Aberdeen in beginning of October. And then in November, it's the Pan-Continentals in Virginia, Minnesota. And then the qualification tournament in December in Kelowna.
Right. Okay. You got lots to do. Okay, Jimmy.
Two other things here. One is when you say you're an entrepreneur, my definition of an entrepreneur is someone who wants to do something that no one else has done, and it's high risk. And high reward, but lots of risk. So give me your background, that what you've done in your life, that probably meant you were looking at something you were going to do, whatever it is. I want to know what you did as an entrepreneur and how that turned into, okay, next I'm going to do curling.
Yeah. So I studied at the University of Zurich, and then I was studying Chinese in China, 2003, 4. And there was boom time at that time, 2003, 4. Everybody was excited and doing their own businesses. And I came back from China and was like, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur as well. The problem was I was a very unsuccessful entrepreneur. I tried 51 projects and none of them worked, like zero of them worked. And then the 52nd project, and this is, I'm not sure how many young people are listening, but I did an adult online shop. I tried everything. And then I started an adult online shop here in Switzerland, where we had the idea to take, this niche market and dodgy market, bring it to mainstream. That was our, making it chic and, like not shady at all, like really like Amazon, like high-end e-commerce. And then the thing took off like crazy with movies like 50 Shades of Grey, and it exploded. And it became bigger and bigger in Switzerland. And so that was my first success. And then in 2022, a company from UK wanted to buy the company, and then I could sell it, but I never had money. And then at one point I received all that money. And so, failing and playing against the odds that's all my life. All my life was against the in the sense from an entrepreneur. Always, 51 projects that didn't work. But I just realized if you just stick to the plan and you just go for it and don't give up, at one point, I always say, like you have talent times the time, and sometimes you have a bit more talent and so you need a bit less time. I didn't have that much talent, but I needed a little bit more time, but just sticking to the game and not giving up, and then great things will happen.
Okay, I gotta ask, what's an adult shop or store? What do I think what I think it is?
Yes, it's exactly that. So in Switzerland, they called me Dildo Allen. That was my name. So if you Google me,
I did not know that.
I'm not sure if you need to beep that or something.
No,
but
man, good.
The thing is, because it generates so many clicks on the newspaper, right?
Yeah, sure.
So they use my name. The all the newspapers are like, self-made millionaire Dildo Allen is trying to go to the Olympics. Imagine the clicks on that article.
Sure. What was the pushback when you want to build a team? You have the passion. You've got the desire. You've got the risk. You sound like you sound like a guy who will never take a no if you believe in something. How long did it take to put a team together? How many guys, for example, did you talk to who said, you know what, Alan, you are out of your mind if you think this is going to work?
So the thing is, the team, we got together pretty quickly, the 4 core of us, because they had this WhatsApp group together, and we just, they took me into that WhatsApp group. But the thing was, in the very beginning, just to give you the scene, when I started in Baden training, I had on one side, I had Silvina Tirinzoni, best Swiss curler, top curler. On the right-hand side, I had the Italians with Joel Retronas, at the time, best team in the world. And I had Yannick Schwaller's team on the 4th ring. And I was in the middle playing with a helmet, right? I had a helmet on and I slided out there and I fell, and, and it's always the same, in the beginning, they ignore you, then they laugh at you. And so that's how it went with us. They in the beginning they were like, "What is this guy doing?" And I completely understand it. Many curlers, they work for 20, 30 years to reach that goal to the Olympics, and I don't want to diminish that in any way. It's so hard to do that. But the thing with me, it's just I'm in this unique position as a lead, having my financial freedom, that I can go and train so hard and do the things. But in the beginning, you can imagine there's this guy coming. He'd never curled. And what will they say? Like, he's trying to go to the Olympics. What kind of what kind of weird guy is saying that? So we didn't make friends in the beginning, but today I believe, they see us train every day. They like our story, and I really like curling people. They're honest people. They're very, very, very nice people, and you need to earn their trust. And I think our team started earning their trust, and now most people are still fans of us, but still there are some people who don't like us. That's just how, or me. That's just how it is.
Before we let you go, self-promote yourself, because you have a cool podcast. I've actually listened to the last about 2 or 3 of your podcasts. And then you also have a YouTube page I think people can check out on this adventure.
Yes. So you will find everything on alanfrei.com. We have all the links there with the trailers, with our YouTube videos of our curling team. And, every like helps us. Or if you think this is a cool project, reach out to us. And we won't stop here.
So it's alanfrei.com. So it's ALAN dot Frei is FREI.com.
Yeah. ALANFREI.com. And I link there to all the other pages, and you will find everything there.
I'll tell you why you're going to be successful. Okay. Any guy, I would have stopped at, so I'm going to try a bunch of ideas as an entrepreneur. People are going to laugh at me. They're going to make fun of me. I'm guessing, Kev, guys like you and I would have stopped about number 4.
51 tries, 51 swings and misses. That's a lot of swings and misses.
I know you would have come to me, Kev. Okay, Jerome, the party's over. We're not going to do this. 50 different efforts at something. How did you handle, like you said, you fell, you came out with a helmet. You must have been somewhat embarrassed by it. You must have been somewhat discouraged and very frightful about playing against a guy like Gushu. What was your attitude after the first time you got drilled?
So we haven't played against Gushu yet. So we played against Joel and all these other great teams. The thing is, I have a very simple philosophy. We have one life, and at one point, all of us are gone. We are just gone, and maybe our children and our grandchildren will be sad for a couple of weeks or months, but at one point we are all gone. And we have this, it's cliche, but we have this one life, and why not try to do something extraordinary out of it? And, one thing that stuck with me when Kevin was in Baden, and everybody knows Kevin for his great success in curling, but you, Kevin, talked also a lot about your losses in curling and how hard they were and how long it took you to revenge your losses. Your final asked you, how long did it take you until the Olympic final loss got recovered? And you told me, until you won the gold medal. So, it's just staying in there, just staying in the game and not giving up on life.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alan, one of the problems is obviously you have no energy about it. You're a fantastic guy. I believe I can speak on behalf of Kevin that the Philippines is certainly one of our new favorite teams. And we'd love to support you. We'd love to watch you, and we're going to talk more and more about you. I want a Philippines hat. Okay, I want a Philippines hat. I'll wear it.
We will send you the merch.
Okay, I want some merch. And way to go, Alan. You are an awfully impressive guy to take that on. And just by your spirit alone, you guys are going to do wonderful. I can't wait to watch you. Good luck to you and your team, and well done. Well done for putting it all together.
Thank you very much. And for me, it's very important. I talk here off the ice, but the heavy lifting is done by Mark, Enrico, Christian, and Bryden. And so these are just absolute phenomenal people, great curlers. And I'm doing the talking around here, but also check them out. They're great people, great curlers. And on this side, thank you very much to them as well. And thank you both for having us on the podcast.
Let's go, Philippines. Come on, you guys.
Let's go.
Take it easy, Alan. Thank you very much for coming on.
I will get the merch over to you guys. Bye, guys. Thank you.